The amazing Instant Pot. It's not just a supercharged pressure cooker, it seems to be a way of life. This is the Happy Diabetic Kitchen, the podcast about people who love to eat and cook healthy. This is your guide to the world of healthy cooking and conversation about happy diabetic living and lifestyles, where we turn ordinary ingredients into something extraordinary. Welcome to the kitchen and let's get cooking. Hello everyone, I am Chef Robert Lewis, the Happy Diabetic, and welcome to the internet's most delicious cooking podcast. I'm here in the kitchen, getting ready to explore a healthy diabetic lifestyle. I want to take the mystery out of healthy cooking, explore some amazing foods, and my diabetic journey with successes and challenges. Let me help you live your best happy diabetic lifestyle. So welcome to the kitchen. If you're new to the show, I'm happy you're here today. With me in the kitchen is my son, Jason, the engineer and producer of the podcast. Hey, Jason. How are you, man?
Hey, I'm great. How are you?
Super good. Did you have a good week?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah,
excited
to be back in the studio again with you.
Yeah, weather's finally warming up.
I know. Snow's melting. I think we were at 50 degrees today, something like that.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Amazing. So, hey, any amazing food experiences since we were together last?
Ooh, I don't know that I've had an amazing food experience.
Yeah.
No. How about you?
Well, what I have been experimenting with, hence the kind of the title of the show, is it was my birthday in February, and I got an Instant Pot.
Okay.
Are you familiar with those?
I wasn't until you showed me yours.
Yeah, it's like a supercharged pressure cooker. So I just thought in today's episode, we might talk about the Instant Pot and talk about some amazing recipes. And I've got an amazing recipe today for the podcast, corned beef with all the trimmings, cooked in the Instant Pot, really delicious. And of course, we'll have that recipe and pictures and possibly some video up on the website in the blog area. So we're going to talk about corned beef. We're going to talk about not Valentine's Day. See, I'm always thinking about love. St. Patrick's Day, right? Okay. So, and then we're going to be talking about cooking with the Instapot, America's #1 pressure cooker, and so much more. So, Jason, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Let's get cooking. So, Jason, coming up this weekend is St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, you want to play a little St. Patrick's Day trivia with me?
Sure.
Okay. True or false? St. Patrick was born in Ireland.
I'm going to say true.
Actually, it's false. He was actually born somewhere in Great Britain. And the rumor is that when he was 16 years old, he was kidnapped by pirates and held in captivity in Ireland for about 6 years.
Wow.
I know. Pretty cool. So, okay, Jason, where was the first St. Patrick's Day parade? And I'll give you a clue. It was not in Ireland. I'll give you another clue. It was somewhere in the U.S. of A.
I'm going to say New York City.
That would be incorrect. Boston.
Okay.
Boston had the very first
total
one.
Sense.
I would have said New York, too, because they got a huge population. Okay. Question number 3. What American city dyes their rivers green to celebrate the holiday?
Okay, that one I know. That's Chicago.
Yeah, it's Chicago. It's amazing. And they use a mixture of vegetable dye and some other compounds that are supposed to be very environmentally friendly. If you've ever seen pictures of it, it really is amazing.
I have seen pictures, but it'd be cool to see in person.
Yeah. Okay, so true or false? Leprechauns are actually fairies and shoemakers in Irish folklore.
Oh, that seems true.
That's right. That is true.
Okay.
The shamrock has 3 leaves. What do the 3 leaves of the shamrock represent?
Ooh.
And it's kind of religious, is the clue.
The Holy Trinity?
Ding, 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 ding.
Thanks for the clue.
Is exactly correct. The Holy Trinity. So 4-leaf clovers are super rare. So there are 5,000, 10,000, or 20,000 3-leaf clovers for every 4-leaf clover.
I'm gonna go for the low on this one, the 5,000.
It's actually 10,000. I mean, that's crazy.
Still incredible.
Yeah, I don't know who came up with that one. All right, so our last question of the St. Patrick's Day trivia. Are you ready?
Sure.
Okay. I got to find it. Okay, so here it is. St. Patrick, was that his real name, or did he have a different name?
I feel like, don't all saints take a different name when they become saints or something like that? Yeah. All right.
That's exactly correct. Good deal.
Beautiful.
Yeah, his name was actually Maywin Sakat.
Interesting.
I know. All right, well, enough of St. Patrick's Day.
Sounds like a name from Star Trek or something.
It does. It definitely does. So, yeah, that's right. It kind of does. I'm imagining what his character might look like. Okay, so enough about St. Patrick's Day, because I'm getting hungry for corned beef and cabbage. But before we get into the recipe of the podcast, let's talk about the Instant Pot, because we're actually going to be cooking the corned beef and cabbage in the Instant Pot. It should be very delicious. So let's get cooking.
All right, let's do it.
I read an article that said the Instant Pot was like the most purchased appliance on the Amazon.com website. There are so many different models for the Instant Pot, and I just thought we could explore a little bit about it, and then we'll get into the recipe. So here's what I know about the Instant Pot, and I've used mine about 5 or 6 times. It is really easy. Mine is the 9-to-1, and it has full banquet of touch controls, from saute to meat to vegetables to steam. It's super safe, and it's about 70% faster than any other cooking appliance I've ever seen. It's stainless steel for easy cleanup, and there's no funky coatings. It's just all stainless steel. It's kind of like old meets new. It's not your mother's pressure cooker, which was questionable whether how safe it was. It does everything hers did, but so much more. And like I said, I have the Plus 9 all-in-one. It's a nice slow cooker and a good pressure cooker. So here's a couple of things I've noticed and learned about my Instant Pot. Number one, you can cook grains in it. So if mom is a fan of oatmeal in the morning or a bowl of rice pudding for dessert, it will be easy and quick to make batches of both in the Instant Pot. This appliance is great for cooking grains, especially rice. Now, you can use it as a regular old pot. As a matter of fact, with the saute setting, I made spaghetti sauce in it, and it worked really great. It was super good. If you like your meat brown, you'll always want to brown the meat before slow cooking it in the Instant Pot. So, for example, if I was cooking short ribs or something like that, I would turn on the saute mode on high, a little bit of oil, and brown all the meat, and then finish the recipe. Because the Instant Pot won't really brown anything once you get liquid in it. But you can bake in it. You can bake cheesecakes. You can bake desserts, fruit cobblers. It really is amazing in that regard. I've seen recipes for quick breads too, so that's another avenue. If you like homemade yogurt, you can make it in the Instant Pot if that's your thing. And you can also steam in it. Now, don't worry about thawing vegetables or even meat. The Instant Pot is high-powered enough to defrost and then cook. I did make some baked potatoes. They came out soft within minutes, and it was just really delish. Now, I've not tried boiled eggs, but friends that I know love hard-cooked eggs in the Instant Pot. Boiled to perfection, simple and easy and really fast. great for stews. I know this sounds like an Instant Pot commercial, but it really is one of those amazing appliances that seems to be able to be super versatile and easy to clean up. Now, one thing you have to learn about the Instant Pot is it doesn't work if you don't have liquid in it. So you always need to have at least a half a cup of liquid. Pressure cooking requires liquid to build up pressure in the pot. So even when you're trying to keep things simple with something like chicken breasts or thighs, make sure you have a half a cup of sauce, broth, water. I mean, that's key for the Instant Pot to go into its amazing pressure mode. Best of all, the Instant Pot is super, super safe. So let's get into our recipe and talk a little bit about corned beef and cabbage and carrots, and I'll walk you through how I'm going to do it in the Instant Pot. And I did get this recipe from a fellow blogger on the internet, and when we come back, I'm going to give you the address, the chef of the world who created this recipe. Check out our website. It really is amazing, and I'm very happy and proud to share it with you today. So we'll be right back. Be sure to follow me on all my social links. You'll find them all at happydiabetic.com. Just look for all my links at the top right-hand side of the page. And if you have a question for me, go to my website, hit the contact tab, you ask questions, and I'll answer them. And hey, they might even become part of the next episode. So let's get into the recipe of the podcast, corned beef. So this recipe comes from Rachel from easypeasymeals.com. 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 Here's Rachel's story, and her website is amazing. And again, I'm proud to feature it on the podcast today. So here's Rachel's story. Would you believe me if I told you I was 20 before I ever tried corned beef? Like seriously, I've never even eaten a Reuben before. We did not grow up eating it, and I had never come across it before. So this recipe that she created in her Instapot is super easy, super fast, and delicious. It's got carrots, corned beef, cabbage in there, the whole thing. So here's Rachel's Instapot tips for corned beef and cabbage. And again, I will post this on my website under the blog, and I'll have a link to my website also on that blog post. So here's Rachel's Instapot tips for corned beef and cabbage. When making slow cooker corned beef and cabbage, set your Instapot to a preset like meat, or you can do it manually. Just use the seasoning packet that comes with the corned beef. And if you don't want to do that, feel free to add bay leaves, whole mustard grains, and thyme. But strain out all those in the liquid before cooking the vegetables, because the vegetables are actually going to cook in that same liquid. Give the pot time to depressurize with the corned beef rather than clicking the vent and letting all the steam escape. It will help the corned beef to be more tender. And when cooking the cabbage, vent it so it doesn't get too soggy. Put the cabbage on top of everything else so it's above the liquid. So you're going to have all the other vegetables, potatoes, and then the cabbage on top. And you may have to drain off a little bit of liquid, but you don't want to drown the cabbage in the liquid. So, with that said, it's time for some corned beef and cabbage, a tender, flavorful, and totally fun recipe for the Instapot. So, are you ready? Let's get a cooking. Okay, so here are the ingredients. 3 to 4 pounds of corned beef brisket. You buy them at the supermarket. They're kind of in a brine, and they usually have the packet in there also with all the spices. You'll need 3 cups of water, 3 cups of a good quality beef broth, again, the seasoning packet from the corned beef, 3 whole garlic cloves, 15 whole peppercorns, and a half a yellow onion minced up very fine. Now, the other ingredients, 6 red potatoes, 5 carrots, half of an onion sliced up, 2 cloves of garlic, a little bit of salt, and 1 head of green cabbage cut into 4 wedges. So step 1, we're going to place the corned beef in the Instapot, fat side up. Add the water, the beef stock, the seasonings, the garlic, the peppercorns, and the onions. Put the lid on and set it to sealed. And then use the meat setting or manual setting for about 60 minutes. This is about a 1-hour recipe. Now, the display will turn on, and after that is hot and the pressure has increased, then it will start counting down. One thing I learned about the Instapot is once you hit start, it doesn't start automatically. It has to build up all the pressure. And then you'll see a little tiny cylinder that pops up. That lets you know that the steam is filling the cavity and you're ready to go. So when time is up, it will turn off, but wait for the pressure flow to go down on its own and then vent it and then remove the lid. So remove the corned beef from the pot, place it on a plate, cover it with aluminum foil so it stays nice and hot. So strain the liquid with all the spices out of it. Add the potatoes, carrots, onions, garlic, and salt. Put the cabbage on top. Put the lid back on. Set it to sealed. Press manual for about 10 minutes on high pressure. When it's finished, wait for the pressure flow to come down and then vent it and remove the lid. Drain all the liquid off. Serve the vegetables with the corned beef and simply enjoy. I mean, really, that's as simple as this recipe is. And Rachel's website, easypeasymeals.com, will have a great video you can watch. And again, my recipe is on the blog at happydiabetic.com. So enjoy this recipe. And I think, Jason, as the weeks go forward, we're going to explore some Instapot recipes, and we'll just learn about the Instapot together. All right, happy cooking. If you're loving what you hear in the kitchen, please leave a comment or feedback at Stitcher, Google Play, or iTunes, or wherever you're listening. Your thoughts and comments are appreciated. Our podcast is produced and engineered by Jason Lewis. Our theme music by the Happy Diabetic Kitchen Band, and yours truly, Chef Robert, on the blazing guitar. And of course, our kitchen mascots, Scout and Tucker, are always close by. So thanks for tuning in, and let me leave you with this thought. Former President Ronald Reagan once said, "You can tell a lot about a fellow's character by the way he's eating his jelly beans." So long for now, and remember, no one loves you more than me.